And hello and greetings, everyone. Hello, and greetings again, everyone. So, I just want to say to everyone, hello and welcome. My name is Matthew, but however, I go by the nickname is Sweet Lew. Okay, and this is going to be I wanted to create a channel that promotes a conservative kind of but open-minded point of view of current events that goes on in our current state and society here in the United States of America. So a little bit about me, okay? So I just want to let everyone know that I am a U.S. Army veteran, and I have served as a military policeman for about 8.5 years. Okay, I've deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan, mostly on police advisory missions both times. And I was medically discharged out of the Army in 2017. And to let everyone know that it was kind of a real hard transition for me, and I am currently a full-time student, father, husband, and such. And to give you an idea what this channel is about, I claim to be a Republican, okay, and a President Trump supporter. So if that's something that's going to be offending you, feel free to leave if you want or listen. Please, I really do want you to listen because I have, a mentality of I want to hear what your guys' side is. I want to hear what everyone's side is. Trolls, not trolls, Democrats, everyone. I really, really, really want to know both sides of the spectrum. Of course, I'm not an alt-right, all right, because that's a new, terminology that's been coming out here in the past couple years. Alt, I left, alt-right, so on and so forth. Let's see if everything is coming out correctly. Maybe I have to redo this. I hope not. All right. So, again, let's see here. What about settings? Anyway, again, letting everyone know this is not going to be an extremist kind of points of view because that gets a lot of people in trouble, and I don't agree with the extremes on the left, on the extremes on the right. So don't get that in your mind, okay? So I want you to come in here and I want you to listen to what I have to say and maybe agree, disagree, but I would like my audience to retort and rebut and have something that we can create a community that we can all learn from each other, because I think that's what's really important in trying to create something in the United States today is that we may not all agree with each other, but we could create an environment where we can be tolerant and we can understand and try to get different points of view and then come with a conclusion or agreements together, for any kind of thing. Okay, so and again, I know that by saying that I'm a Trump supporter, I'm a Republican, I know that in today's society that this is going to be put some kind of label on me, and people jump to conclusions and make assumptions about who I am. And I pray and I hope that you won't. I know that isn't I'm going to be idealistic or realistic. That it's going to happen. People are going to disagree, obviously, and it's going to happen. Anyway, but what I want to make it clear is that I encourage people to make comments, arguments, debates, anything about their opposing point of views of myself. And I really look forward to making videos that people from all over the country will enjoy and get people to really talk and get people to be more involved in current events here in the United States. So I want to make this a learning experience for everyone, myself including. And I want to let everyone know that this is going to be a channel where it's probably going to be like majority about like maybe current events, politics, stuff like that. But also, in order to give like a light side to it, I'm going to be talking a lot about like the NFL. I'm a big American football fan, and I love to talk about current events of what's going on in the NFL. I really, really enjoy it. All right, and to let everyone know, I'm a big Denver Broncos fan. But however, I keep an open mind and very critical point of view on all the other 31 other teams in the NFL. I'm not a big college fan, to be honest with you, and I know that college in different states and different communities, and they, a lot of other people, they take the college football NCAA very, very seriously. Unfortunately, I don't follow it very well. I do follow like the prospects that are coming into the NFL and are going to go into the draft and such. And that is something I do enjoy, is the draft that's going to be coming up. So I hope everyone's going to enjoy it. Different sports, we can talk about it. I would really encourage everyone to make comments, or we can do something where we can go live on any kind of instant messenger to talk about different sports. Because my second favorite would probably be the NBA. I don't watch the current, I guess, the regular season of the NBA. I do watch the playoffs and the finals. I do enjoy that. I grew up kind of a big Michael Jordan fan. So the Bulls were something I really liked back when I was a kid. And I guess, I don't have a favorite NBA team, but I do like the Warriors. I am going to be a bandwagoner on that one. I'll gladly admit that, and that's fine. Anyway, hope everyone else will enjoy. So, to start off on tonight's first episode, and everyone, I don't know how many people are going to be jumping in. Again, feel free to ask any kind of questions, and I got some stuff here that I want to talk about. So, the first thing, is going to be the New Zealand Mosque Attacks. Okay, so this happened, so I'm here on the West Coast, right? So I got the news feed last night, probably around this time. And I don't know the exact time that it happened. It doesn't really matter, but what did happen was that there was a few white supremacists that went into a couple of mosques, at least two, from what I've read, and shot up and killed from reportedly 49, and others that were injured as well. And so what really makes this entire situation, man, really, really screwed up is that, they live feed it, for one thing. They put it up on social media. I don't know what kind of, I know different countries have, the different social media platforms. I don't know if it was YouTube. I don't know exactly. We can find it out together. But, however, it doesn't really matter. They live feed it. And from my understanding is, there was, a first-person point of view of, one guy, at least, that I know of, that from what I've seen as, a little snapshot, who had a shotgun and walked into a mosque and fired upon people that were praying here on a Friday. And so it was yesterday, so it was a Friday morning over there. And for those that are watching, there is a big Muslim community over in Australia and in New Zealand. Mainly, they're the kind of people over there that really opened the borders up for a lot of refugees, came through, and and there's at least first generation families over there, natural born in New Zealand or in Australia. and it's a very sad situation. And man, I think they arrested one, from what I understand, from what I read, at least one, and the other ones that were part of it, I don't know exactly what happened, if they got shot and killed. But what I do know is that on the New Zealand websites that they post out there for what's going on. They blinked out the murderer's face. I think he already appeared on in front of a court. I don't know exactly what was the disposition or what really happened with that, but they have a point of view, and something that I do agree with is that they blanked out his face, right? They don't want you to know exactly what he looks like, and they're not really going to release his name. I'm sure sometime that you're going to find out here in the United States who the guy was and everyone that was involved and what their names, because here in the United States we are very involved about information and trying to get names and locations and stuff like that. But you have to understand that outside of the United States and places like in Europe and in Australia, they have a mentality of, we don't want to glorify a serial killer. We don't. Well, he's not a serial killer, but a mass murderer. And we're not going to glorify. We're not going to give his name. We're not going to fucking put his face out there, because we don't want to make this something, where people can look up to him. Because unfortunately, that's what we look like. That's what it is here in society. I mean, here in the United States, it all started with the Columbine thing. Everyone was kind of like, and even Marilyn Manson said this, because, they blamed Marilyn Manson during the entire Columbine. This was back in the 90s. And, and blamed his music, and what he said, and he retorted, and Marilyn Manson said, it's not my music that influenced the murders, it's the glorification of murderers that the United States media portrays. Unfortunately, it is an effect that, we put this out in the media and we say, hey, John Wayne Gacy, we know fucking Ted Bundy, blah blah blah, and all other such, and we say, like, don't be like this, don't be like that, and then, but however, it has the effect of, implanted in our brains, and the people that are watching this, they get influenced by it, regardless if it's a positive influence, negative influence. Obviously, it's a negative influence, but it's influence regardless. And I agree with that point of view that Australia has, and it is something that, man, blank his face out. We don't need to see his name. We don't need to know who it was. All we need to know is that it happened. It was a very terrible, terrible fucking thing, and unfortunately, and this is my point of view on, like, what I think about whoever was involved and everyone that was involved. Apparently, so, like, okay, well, there's a couple things about this guy from what I see, and again, this is not all truth, because, like, I haven't really found out, but this is like articles that I've read, and the media is kind of like up and down and sideways, left and right, and all that other kind of stuff. But one thing that they said, and they started off saying, and I read someone off of my Facebook, because, like, I have friends that are Democrat and liberal and stuff like that, and I have a couple friends that, regardless of what they do, they always try to attack Trump, and they say, this guy was a Trump supporter. Well, and I read a different article where this guy, the main guy that was involved, that really made the plans of the entire attack. He went to France, and he saw how many immigrants came into France, how many refugees from Syria and Muslims and stuff like that. And that's where he really got his hate. So I don't know where the truth really lies. But however, I do agree with the France kind of point of view. That's the one that I would more agree with and think that is more believable. And then he's been plotting this, man. It had to have been going on for plotting it for a couple years at least. The entire Paris attacks, man, that happened a few years ago. That guy that was going to be drawing a cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad. I think that was in Denmark, maybe. Well, there was one in France as well. But still, and apparently that's where they say, I don't know where he got his hate. This guy, regardless, what we do know for sure is that the guy was a white supremacist, an extremist, extreme right, alt right, whatever, however you want to look at it, piece of shit. That's what he is. All right, let's face it, let's call it what it is. In layman's terms, piece of shit, right? Took innocent people's lives, at least 49, from what I understand, reportedly, and does this guy really have any purpose in society anymore? No, absolutely not. As you guys will watch and understand my point of view about the judicial system and do I agree with the death penalty and stuff like that, you have to understand, man. This is a kind of a person that, regardless of what you do in a system of a government, in the correction system or whatever, there is no fixing this guy. There isn't. There's no fixing him or his other co-conspirators. They're basically useless in society because there's no change in that mindset that's already been fixed. Very rarely, maybe his co-conspirators could. It's like the Charlie Manson and the Manson family and the other ones. I think they got out of that mindset, but Charlie didn't. He fucking put a swastika on his forehead in the mirror, and it was inverted because he was damn stupid. But anyway, man, it's very sad. And I think that we need to take this because we've had our massacres here in the United States, in South Carolina with the church massacre, with African Americans in there, and I read one article that said that he was influenced by that. Man, I don't know the truth. I just think that it's the media really blowing this stuff, trying to connect it to pieces that really are not involved in the United States. I mean, they may be, but I just don't believe it quite yet. And again, I do agree with the aspect of was he influenced in the sense that we put it out in the media saying, hey, this is the guy that committed this crime, he committed a mass murder of African Americans in a church. Yeah, that part I do agree with, because again, this is what goes back to what I said, what Marilyn Manson said, and that it's not that we as maybe there are families out there that are really promoting violence, but yet it's our media that's contributing to the glorification of these murderers, man. And and it's the truth. And very sad, man. And my prayers go out to all of them, everyone that was involved, man. And it's I firmly believe that we need to adapt a mindset of it shouldn't be about religion, about people that their color, but unfortunately some of the times it is. And if something like that was to happen in America, and it has, just understand that we need to have a mindset that we need to protect each other. We need to have a love, a respect, a tolerance of our neighbors, as long as they're within the confines of the law. We all have different kind of moralities. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different skin color. We all have different beliefs and shit like that. But we all have to be prepared and get into and change our mindset to say, like, we're going to defend our neighbors, we're going to protect each other, get into a community mindset, to say, like, we're not going to allow this kind of crap to happen, and we shouldn't, and that we should come together and be like, hey, fully punish these people. But it's hate, man, is not going to get you anywhere. Hate is only going to make you rot inside. You dwell on hate, and it's only going to make you a worse person. And I firmly believe this, to defeat racism, you have to travel. You have to go to different parts of the world. You have to see, like, how people live and interact, man. I got friends that are Muslim, Iraqi, Afghani, black, white, Muslim, whatever. I got friends that are, that I talk with, and I've interacted with, and even today, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we have, like, different large communities of Somalis, people from the Sudan, all different kind of, like, African, and natives, you just gotta keep a fucking open mind, man, like, not to hate on each other. It's just fucking, it blows my mind about, like, why anyone in there, this is the problem, they're not in their right mind, to go in and kill innocent people. And what they're doing is that they're creating a racial divide between people, not only in in New Zealand and not only in Australia, but that comes over here in the United States, and it goes into Europe, and it's creating a stronger, a bigger divide of people that are Muslim against basically everyone else, and it's not right. There's a lot of Muslim people here that in the United States that have served as interpreters in Iraq and Afghanistan, and in the war since back in since 2001, and and one of them is my good friend, and he's a citizen now, and he really has the belief, but, like, and I would defend him, I would with my life, I would defend, because he's a fellow American, you know what I mean? Even though he's from Iraq, and it's a great friend of mine, man, but, and it's sad, and that's all it is, man. It's an unfortunate event that is going to be splitting, a political debate about religion from whites, blacks, and Christians, Jews, and Muslims and stuff like that, and that's all it is, man. But I just want to let everyone know that what this is, it's a sick individual that had this fucked up mindset to think that this was okay, and it's not. Okay? And it goes across for everyone. It's not just because he was white, it's just because he was a sick, fucked up individual. That's why. So my prayers go out to them, man, and I really hope that this is not going to be an event that's really going to separate the people in the world any farther than this already has been. All right, so number 2, we're going to talk about the university scandal here in the United States, right? So millions of dollars. In case if everyone doesn't know, recent events here in the past week here in the United States, obviously, and this is not a brand new thing, just coming out to light, in our American media about, basically millions of dollars was given to this guy named William Singer, right? And so this guy, he received so much money. I don't know how he got caught, how the FBI came involved. My only assumption is probably some of the viewers will know, and please share a link. But as I told other people, that it's kind of hard to hide millions of dollars. I think he got like $25 million. I think in the course of 5-10 years, something like that. Anyway, he kind of like, and this guy was like a middleman of different universities, like Georgetown, Yale, USC, UCLA, and other like minor colleges. And I don't know how a guy like this would get like involved. Maybe he's like a mediator between like, say, in California and, uh, like, I guess got like involved. I don't know, man. I don't know how this guy like had so much like deep connections. Regardless of that, he helped like at least 50 people, from my understanding. He took him a lot of money, faked like SAT scores. He like the variety of what happened is some students or prospects or prospective students, they were going to come in, and he he spent money. He gave money to like a school, like let's take for instance UCLA, and who was it that did it? Here we go. Yeah, I think it was Lori Loughlin, and from Full House. She spent like $500,000 to get her $2 into USC, and the way that they did it was that like, oh, I think they're like part of the row team, or I think what it is, the right rowing, whatever, and they go in the water, and they're on the little canoe or some shit like that, and anyway, and they were like, hey. Oh, they should receive a, full ride scholarship. We need them on our row team. And, lo and behold, they never been on a road team before, and so she got caught up in that, and I think it was a big bust because the guy William Singer, he's been squealing like a canary, basically. He's been letting it all out, man. I think because he got in trouble, so he's letting the FBI know, and he's gave out all of his information and so on and so forth, and so that's how like this actress, Lori Loughlin, she got caught up. Apparently, her and her husband were put on a bond of $1 million, man, because of that. I guess because a lot of the money, $500,000 to USC, and and it just shows the corruption of our current American university system. But you know what? In a sense, we always knew that shit was going on, man. Like, yeah, someone can pay for a new library for the university, for Yale, Georgetown, or whatever the hell, of course their kids are going to get into it, you know what I mean? We knew the shit was happening, but the unfortunate part here now, well, not an unfortunate part, it's a fortunate part, is that now it's coming to light and is really being brought into the American, point of, to the American public. And really breaking apart. And it's a great thing that the FBI is doing this shit, man. Or I think it was the FBI that was involved. It has to be, federal. I mean, he got federal indictment. So, and it's a good thing that they're really bringing a lot of the shit to light, and punishing those that, because like there's a lot of people that have great GPAs, and universities want to diversify, and they, man, and you pay for, or family pays for a library and shit like that, and it's, yeah, and it's amazing. Like I said, her and her husband, what's her husband's name? But I guess he's like some kind of fucking. Oh, it doesn't matter. He's like a designer, I think. It doesn't matter. One thing too is that Lori Loughlin's daughter is Olivia Jade, and I guess a lot of you guys know. I don't. It's the first time me hearing about her. I don't follow really Instagram all that much, and YouTube. I guess she's a YouTube star too, or an Instagram model, some shit like that. And she came out and said like, oh, I only want to go to college and to go to the to the sport events and really to party, And it's like, and I listen to a lot of Ben Shapiro, and he said this, and I completely agree with it. is that what she said was like really completely right. She wasn't bullshitting anyone. That's really what university is all for, right? Not really. There's a lot of the times it's not really to learn a lot of shit. And what he said was that going to university, is about two things. It's about networking, and it's about credentials, and basically social networking. And so why would they spend so much money to make sure that their daughters would go into a prestigious university? I don't know about. And so it's because, to make sure that they had those social connections. And I agree with that. I firmly believe that. Especially someone that's like making, God knows what the hell Olivia Jade's making off of her Instagram modeling and YouTube videos, which I'm pretty sure is a lot of money. And she was already saying like, oh, I got to go to China, I got to go to overseas, I got to go to New York, and hopefully the deans will understand I have to do this and go there. And it's, but that's reality, man. They've been doing that shit for years. They're still doing that shit overseas. You know what I mean? So it's really nothing new. And the other one was Felicity Hoffman. I guess she's from Desperate Housewives, and she posted a $250,000 bill, and a real big thing. I mean, apparently this guy, dude, was just giving money to people to say like, hey, accept this person as an athlete. They're not really an athlete, or like say, hey, this student has a disability, so he needs to he or she needs to have someone during the SATs and they're flubbing the SAT results, either giving them the right answer or they're taking the test and they're fixing the answers. It's really, real mess. All right. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit going on. Crazy stuff going on in the United States here. So, okay. Next thing, here we go. Democrats, man. Oh, sorry about that. Democrats going crazy. Everyone knows about AOC, alright? So if you don't know what AOC stands for, it took me a little bit of time to figure out what everyone was meaning by AOC. Obviously, it's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right? So everyone knows about her. She is a representative out of New York. To me, it's kind of... I find it that her popularity in the media is really uncalled for. I think everyone knows about, like, all the stupid shit that she says. Progressive stuff, socialist views, blah, blah, blah. I really think that it's a ploy to really get our attention away from, like, stuff that the Democrats are really trying to pull off. I really do think that is a ploy. I think how the hell can she be so popular? How, I talked to a lot of my friends that are, fellow conservatives, and they're like, talking about AOC, this, I'm like, do you know how the devil gets his power is when you talk about him so much, it's the same thing, we gave her the power by talking about her so much, by putting her in the media, by putting, and all the conservatives, everyone, left, right, and blah, 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 was always talking about AOC this, AOC that, AOC. And it's sickening to me I don't even want to talk about her. I don't even want to mention her name. That's why I'm going to refer to her from here on out as AOC, 3 fucking letters, and that's about it. And, oh man, Green New Deal, and it's, I don't know the specifics about it, but I know from what I've heard is that it's, about like trying to cut down, obviously, on carbon emissions. I do believe that there is climate change. I do. And there are ways and there should be things that we need to do to cut down on carbon emissions. And I want everyone to know this, is that you have to understand that the United States of America contributes to a far less amount of carbon emissions in comparison to countries that are developing, like China. Those are the countries that are really destroying the environment. Everyone wants to think like, oh, how much more can we do? We need to attack carbon emissions. We need to, and climate change is a very important thing, and I do agree with it from a scientific point of view. But however, you have to understand that here in the United States, we are doing the best that we can. And, there is a lot of people that are cutting down on the emissions, and there's a lot of things that a lot of people are doing. But, it's the countries like Russia that are really contributing to a big portion of the carbon emissions and stuff. Anyway, Green New Deal, to me, I find it very interesting about how she's been in office for maybe about a month and a half, and it comes out with this very complicated new bill. How did that happen? How to get so supportive? I know she didn't write it herself, and it has to be an entire crew. There's an entire, it just, to me, it just seems about how this shit came out real quick. You know what I mean? She's coming in hard, she's coming in fast and shit like that, and it's stupid shit that keeps saying. Anyway, Democrats wanting to allow illegal immigrants to vote in our elections, American elections. Let's take a moment to let that sink in. Democrats want illegal immigrants to vote in the elections. I think they're already starting that shit in California and allow them to get a fucking driver's license. Hell, they've been doing that shit for years. But allowing illegals, it's... Let's just stop using the term illegals. Let's stop using the term illegal immigrants. Let's call them foreign nationals. Because that's what they are, right? It's all about terminology, semantics, right? So let's call them foreign nationals. Doesn't matter. We're not talking about Mexicans. We're not talking about Salvadorians. We're not talking about, Russians. We're talking about, in generalities, foreign nationals. Okay? Same thing, right? Foreign nationals. They have citizenship in a foreign country that's not the United States, right? So let's stop using the terminology illegal immigrants, because that just like triggers the mind to think different things about, like, oh, illegals, allow them in, anyway. Foreign nationals. Let's call them that. Let's call them foreign nationals, right? So the hypocrisy of the Democrats and the hypocrisy of the liberals and the hypocrisy of the left is like this entire Russian collusion. Oh, the Russians, man, they interfered in the elections of President Trump. They interfered. We need to put in an FBI probe. Like fucking 2 years, not even that, 3 years almost now. 2.5 years. Let's call it 2.5 years. Or 2 years, whatever. Semantics. About Russian collusion, that the Russians got involved in the elections, and they put out ads specifically, they hacked and shit like that, man. But however, look at the look at the contradictory statements that they're making, right? Like, hey, Russian collusion, you screwed up, Trump. The Russians got involved. But however, hey, let's have foreign nationals vote in our elections, because I know that these foreign nationals are going to vote in favor of Democrats. To me, the very first thing that came to mind is like, this is a 21st century version of the Three-Fifths Compromise. Let's have people that we don't care about. Do you think the Democrats really give two shits about foreign nationals or illegal immigrants? No, they don't care. They care about boosting their numbers of representatives that are liberal and that are Democrat, basically. The two-party system. And, they don't give two shits. They just want to boost their numbers. That's the exact same reason, the thing that they did in the Three-Fifths Compromise when the beginning of our nation. You know what I mean? Think about it. I mean, Three-Fifths Compromise. So, 3/5 of a human being is what counted for a slave. So that there was more representation in the South, so that they can have more representatives in Congress, right? Same concept, just different time era, And, the truth is that there is more slavery going on today or more people that are slaves today than there were 200 years ago. Human trafficking is a thing, and that's human slavery. And, it's a very unfortunate thing, but that's the truth. Allow illegal immigrants. Or foreign nationals. Excuse me, that's what I said, right? Foreign nationals to vote in our elections. Just think about that for a moment. Let's say I'm a leader of any country. It doesn't matter if it's Canada, Mexico, United Kingdom, Germany, Russia, Iran, whatever. Take your pick. Just choose one. I don't give a shit. But just imagine that I'm the leader. Right? Let's say, you know what? I think Britain, United Kingdom, UK. Let's say I'm the Prime Minister. Let's say I'm the leader of the United Kingdom. Right? And I say, hey, I want to interfere in the American elections. My people can fly into the United States and without a visa, only with a passport. Make some foreign nationals, basically. But they're in the country legally. So what's going to stop them from getting a driver's license or any kind of form of local government ID and voting in our elections? Think about that for a moment. You know what I mean? And it can't happen, and it's like, it's just the United Kingdom is Britain, I don't trust any other government. There's a lot of things in my own government that I don't even trust, and you think that I'm going to trust that, that foreign nationals can can get into the country legally without a visa, that can, they just can't go into California and get a driver's license like the other foreign nationals that are not here legally. Come on, man. I mean, this is ridiculous. Even residents, legal residents that have a green card can't vote in our elections. They can have to go to their respective embassy in order to vote for, and they can still vote in their respective countries' elections. So come on. Get the hell out of here with that shit, man. No way should this shit allow me to pass. And how the hell can you think that it'd be okay and acceptable? Foreign nationals to vote in our elections, just have everyone come in. But however, no Russian collusion. Oh, we gotta look into Trump on that one. Get the fuck out of here with this contradictory bullshit, man. I mean, really, this is what they think, man. I mean, it's just out of this world. Oh, I see what I did here. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. And for the first episode. So, have a great night. And God bless.